Welcome to BluOS 101. I'm Ross Everlin, the product manager for Blue Sound Professional. Topics we will cover in this presentation will be how to download the BluOS controller app, the best practices associated with BluOS, the correct network settings to help have successful implementation of a BluOS-based player, some of the discovery basics on our players, and how to place support requests. Let's begin. To access the BlueSound downloads for the apps, you can visit the bluesoundprofessional.com/downloads webpage, and you'll see the links for Google Play Store, the iOS Apple Store, and also the Windows and Mac apps. For the Android and iOS apps, I would recommend that from those devices, visit those stores' sites to download. First, before going to the site, let's explore some best practices, what I recommend you do in your shop. Connect your bluesoundpro device, and during the setup process, the device will upgrade to the latest firmware. Play some music, making sure that the unit is functional, and spend some time using the BlueSound app if it's new to you, and then do a factory reset command. This will confirm that the device is ready to go to the site. It also helps to determine that you've got a working unit, and then when you go to the local site, if there is an issue, all that remains is probably a local network issue. To help overcome any network issues, we have included router settings on the next slide that can be shared with the IT group of your end user, just to make sure that everything is available network-wise for the devices. Once that's all done, then we're all set to go on site. On this slide, you'll find some recommended router settings. Make special note that the player speaker must have access to the internet and multicast must be enabled. These are the ports that the BlueSound devices use. They must be open to allow all functionality. Do not set the network switch to jumbo frames. They're not needed for our streamers and will cause issues. On Ubiquiti switches, do not use Auto Optimize. To operate our player speakers, it is mandatory that the controlling app discovers the player speaker. The controller device, be it PC, Mac, or mobile device, must be on the same subnet as the player speaker. A good item to have in your network toolkit is an IP scanner such as Fing or equivalent. For iOS devices, the Apple Store has a tool called Discovery that helps find our devices using the Bonjour discovery. Once you know the IP address of the player, you can also check out the player speaker by entering the IP address and view our web page. This is not our main operating app, but is a good step to determining connectivity. Next would be to open the BlueSound controller app, which we will detail in subsequent slides. Let's discuss support requests. Once you navigate to help send support requests in the BlueSound controller app, fill in the fields as shown, making sure to include the BlueSoundpro model name and be descriptive as possible on the issue. When using a control system, include that fact. Make sure you include country and send request. You should get an Autobot reply. It doesn't always solve your issue, but take it as a confirmation that your request was received. This request automatically pulls a diagnostic from the device, which greatly assists the support team. This is the best way to get support. If your player speaker is not functioning at all or your app cannot find the unit to display help send support request, then use these alternatives to place a support request. It is very important that you include the model name for your Pro product to escalate your request automatically. This is a couple of snippets from the diagnostic log that helps us to determine health of Ethernet connection, all players online, and your firmware version. Please also review presentations on how to use the BluOS Controller 4.x user interface. Thank you for reviewing the BlueSound Professional Technical Webinar for BluOS 101 Pro.